Well, welcome to the next video in this series of Discovering You. And this one is on encouraging. We're talking about the motivational gift of encouraging. Again, we're going to look at the etymology of the word, and it comes from the Greek word paraklon. Paraklon is spelled P-A-R-A-K-A-L-W-N, but it's pronounced paraklon. The word has two parts. One is a call, and the other is companionship. So together they mean to be with and for another. To be with and for another. This is the ability to call out the best in others through encouragement and motivation. So those with the motivational gift of encouraging have the ability to call out the best in others, encourage them, and motivate them. The definition used in this teaching is the ability to give words of comfort, of consolation, encouragement, and counsel in such a way that others feel helped and healed. And so this gift is something that someone, when you have this gift, you're always wanting to encourage people. You want to make people feel better. You want to give them wise counsel. You want to bring consolation to them during different events in their lives. Things are happening in their lives, and comfort them. So there's a need for what is called the care of the soul, in which certain people come alongside others to comfort, encourage, as well as incite people to continue in their cause. So if you are the one with this gift, or you know someone with this gift and you're recognizing this, you want to, if you're one with this gift, you want to be encouraging people. You see people that have goals, that people are trying to accomplish things, but they get discouraged about things. They get, roadblocks come up and things happen, and things happen in their life, and they want to, they want to give up. And your inclination and what you want to do is go directly to their aid and go to them and say, listen, I know this is a tough time, but you're smart, you're intelligent, you're talented, all this kind of stuff, and just kind of build them up, try to encourage them, try to comfort them through dark times, and say, you can do it, you can really do it. I believe in you, I believe you can do it. And so the people with the gift of encouraging, they're always just trying to build people up. So the measure of the gift is the resulting encouragement. In other words, when you have this motivational gift, you get energized when people are encouraged. So you don't get energized doing the encouragement. You get energized when people are encouraged, because you have this sense of accomplishment. You feel like you have done what you're called to do. When you see people that say, you're right, thanks, that's really gave me a shot in the arm, that really helped me. And when they get on down the road, they thank you for being there for them, or through a tough time, and through a loss in their life or what have you, and you were there for them. You like to see them, you like to see people up, you like to see people encouraged, you like to see people happy. You want people to be happy all the time. And so it's just one of those things that's where you get energized, is when they are encouraged, not the act of actually encouraging people. Some of the other gifts, it's just the act of doing the gift, but your satisfaction, your fulfillment comes when people are encouraged because of you. So, in other words, the measure of the gift is the result of the gift. That's how you measure the success of your gift, or the validity of your gift is the result of the gift. It's not the doing that is important, but the results. One scholar says, if teaching provides guidance for what people ought to do, then encouragement helps them achieve it. So teaching, which we've covered teaching already, if they're the ones that provide guidance for what people ought to do, then those of you with the gift of encouraging help people achieve it. You keep them motivated to achieve it, and that's what your gift is for. Encouragers should walk the walk and not just talk the talk. In other words, they should be encouraged themselves. They should be able to encourage themselves as well. Sometimes it's hard to do that. But as a rule, you should be able to pick yourself up. You should be able to encourage yourself, that sort of thing. So, some people say, well, you're not happy. Why should I be happy? That's going to be detrimental to the gift. So now, encouraging is in the speaking category. Remember, I have the two categories, and this is in the speaking category. So people with the gift of encouragement feel comfortable around people and tend to have extroverted personalities. Again, this is a generalization, but those that I've got 3 particular people in my life that have this gift. And it's amazing when we took this thing that, 2 of them have the first 2 are the same, and the third one is different. But it's like 3 people in my life have this gift, and 2 of them are extroverted and 1 of them is not. So it depends on what your other giftings are and your personality type. Again, these are not hard and fast. We're not trying to pigeonhole. If you're not extroverted, you don't have this. But it's just as a general rule, the averages are, the odds are that you're going to be an extrovert. You're going to be comfortable around people and that sort of thing. Anecdotal research shows that encouragers not only encourage others, but also, listen to this, also like to prescribe practical advice. Like, for instance, somebody is feeling inadequate about something. They're feeling like they don't have the talent or the ability. A lot of times someone with the gift of encouragement say, hey, I tell you what, here are some affirmations that you can write down and put them on your mirror. So in the mornings when you're getting ready, you read those affirmations. You tell yourself, I've got what it takes to accomplish this, and I believe in myself, and that sort of thing. And encourager will give you actually some practical things, like when you feel depressed, you feel discouraged, get up, go outside, go for a walk, and get some fresh air. That's the kind of thing that encouragers will do. They'll give you some practical tips and ways to help yourself. So encouragers want to see people improve and succeed. They want to see people successful. It's just inside them. They're just sometimes it's almost to a downfall for them. They can kind of get codependent in a way, but it's natural for them to want to see people succeed, because that's why they're encouragers. They want you to succeed. They have an ability to bring new life to people who have lost their determination and feel burnt out. So again, corporate settings. Those of you that are lead organizations or managers, that sort of thing, you want to make sure that you have someone with the motivational gift of encouraging on your team, because there are going to be times when you're not reaching your goals, you're not hitting your marks, those sort of things. When you have these things that you're trying to accomplish, and you get bogged down, and you start getting like, we might not make our targets, hit our targets, and all this kind of stuff. If you've got an encourager on your team, they're going to rally people. They're going to rally around people, and they're going to be the cheerleaders. They're going to be the ones that will bring people and say, "Listen, we can do this. We've got the talent. We've got our team is so we've got what it takes." And they'll just encourage them, and so it helps psychologically. It may not change them, technically, but it's going to change them psychologically, and I mean that is just a huge boost to any group or any organization. If you can help the morale of a group, they can accomplish a lot more when they are encouraged and when they're excited about what's going on. Now, encouragers are good with every personality and gift. It doesn't matter, what kind of personality type you are, what kind of things like that, whatever your gifting is, they're good with them. However, because they are considerate of the feelings of others, they can easily be offended. So see, they're trying to help you, they're trying to be there, but if you don't get encouraged, or if you don't want their encouragement, they could get their feelings hurt. And so if you have this gift, you have to guard against that. You have to understand that it's not always personal when people don't want your encouragement, when they're so low that they can't accept your encouragement, they can't be encouraged. There's going to be times like that. There are just going to be times when people will not, you won't be able to encourage them. Don't stop trying. That's not the thing. Don't stop trying, but like I always say, you plant a seed. If you plant a seed of encouragement, at some point it will be watered and it'll grow. So don't get offended if people don't want your help or they don't seem to be accepting your encouragement or your advice or your counsel or the practical steps you're trying to provide. So when people are not considerate towards them, when people aren't considerate towards you, you can get offended. And so just understand, not everybody has the gift of encouraging. Not everybody does. It's like number 5, I think, on my list. So, it's on the bottom third, So it's like, okay. And I have to learn to encourage people. I have to learn to, now I have a little bit of it when we get to leading. You'll understand I have some of that encouraging in me, but I have to consciously make an effort to do it. So people that have this gift have often been offended by me by not being considerate of their feelings. And we all have to watch how we interact with each other. And learning this information is what's going to really benefit you. It's going to really help you to be able to communicate with those with other giftings and that sort of thing. Encouragers can be over talkative and eager to share and jumping into conversations. Some people that I know, they shall remain nameless, but they're always jumping in conversations because of the fact that they want to, with the multiplicity of words, with multiple words, they feel like they can lift you up, and the more they talk to you, the more they feel like they can encourage you, when it's just kind of exacerbating the situation sometimes. But so we have to watch that. But that's just kind of a generalization again, but it's kind of a trait that people with the gift of encouraging will have. Now, depending on their other dominant gifts working in an encourager's life, this gift can result in the most gregarious personalities. Again, 2 out of 3 in my life, they're all women. One's my wife. 2 are just friends of ours, ladies that attended our church, but they're friends of ours, and they come to our house for Bible studies and that sort of thing. But they're friends of ours. But they're gregarious. I mean, they're just the life of the party. That's just who they are. And so they usually have a large circle of friends because they want to like so many people, and they want so many people to like them. They get their validation a lot from being liked by a lot of people, by having so many friends, and so they'll have a large circle of friends, and that leads to an encourager having influence with people. So it's not a bad thing to have a lot of friends. In fact, it's actually a good thing. So those of us that are perceivers, that have a very small group of friends, we don't tend to be as influential with people because we just don't have that many relationships in our life. But you can have influence with people. This often leads to a charismatic leadership style. And so if you have someone that is the head of your organization and they have this gift, this motivational gift, then they're going to be a very charismatic leader. They're going to be someone that everybody just loves to be around. I've got one particular preacher friend of mine. He's a pastor as well, and he has this ability. I've never seen him. I don't know if he's ever taken this assessment or whatever, but he has the ability, when you are in his presence, to feel like the most important person in the room to him. Now, I don't know how he does that. I've told my wife I've got to learn that skill, and I haven't yet. But you know better. You know in your mind that you are not the most important person in the room to him. I mean, there could be family members in the room. However, when he's talking to you, you feel like the most important person in the room, and how he couldn't be happier to see you. He's just been waiting all this time to see you, and all this kind of stuff, just anticipating getting to see you and talking to you, and you leave feeling like you're the king of the world. You feel like you're the most important person ever. And then the next person that comes along, you can watch it. I have watched it because I analyze things, the teaching and the perceiving and stuff. I've analyzed it. I've analyzed him, and I'm thinking, how does he do this? But he's a very charismatic leader. He's one of these, he pastors the church, but he's just one of those guys that everybody loves. Everybody loves being around him, and he has a ton of influence over people because people like him, because they feel better when they're around him. And so that's just something, a strength that he has. That's something that people with the gift of encouraging could do and could have. So you want them to be in leadership in some ways. Also, encouragers sometimes find themselves in positions of leadership by default due to their optimism, their motivation, and inspiration of others. In other words, they don't seek out leadership, but they're kind of put there because they end up there because they're always encouraging people. They're always lifting people up. They are gifted with an ability to make connections with people, and often people in key positions. So, again, encouragers, this is a pretty strong gift. It's one of those that are out front. We were talking about when we were talking about serving, how they want to do stuff in the background that they see as less important, so that those that have that gift, encouraging, can be out front. And so we have to understand that they're going to be more gregarious. They're going to be, if you've got this gift, I would say you need to take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Again, one of the ladies that friend of ours that is an encourager, she's also serving. So she's kind of got both going in her life. So she's not necessarily, she does lead. She's like an office manager or something like that, but she doesn't necessarily like being in charge, but she just, they just end up being there. And so I've advised her, lead as a servant, show servant leadership, because you have a serving gift in you and you have that encouraging. Then show people how to lead as a servant, and then people can learn to serve each other. Encouragers are natural networkers. They are natural. I'm not a natural networker. My brother, my younger brother, he's just one of these people that he doesn't meet a stranger. He didn't meet a stranger when we were kids. We'd be in the grocery store, okay? I don't know, he's 6 years younger than I am, so I must be like 8 or 9. And my sister's 7 or so. She's 2 years younger than I am. And he's in the grocery cart, in the seat in the grocery cart, and he acts like he's in a parade. Hi, what's your name? Hi, what's your name? And my sister and I, we're introverted, we're saying, Mom, make him be quiet, make him shut up. Hi, what's your name? Hi. And he's like in a parade. He thinks he's the queen or something. They're just natural networkers. They're just going to talk to people. And so I've gone to networking events with him to kind of learn how he does it, because I have to make myself do it. I have to be intentional about it. And so you want encouragers on your team because they can network with people and have a larger pool of resources. Okay, so now the people with this gift, they are the feet of the group because they're action. They get stuff done. They're encouragers. They're the feet. They're what carry the group. When we get down, they're the ones that carry us. They're motivated to stimulate faith in others, faith in systems, faith in their abilities, faith in themselves. They're motivated to stimulate faith in others. They're motivated to encourage others. That's what their motivation is. They're motivated to pinpoint the causes of a problem and present practical steps to solve them. And so that's some of the things. Admonishing people when they are not living to their full potential. So you're going to have people that are encouragers that are going to come alongside you, and they're going to say, listen, man, you're better than this. You're better than this. You can do this. And forgive the paper noise, but I'm having problems with my notes here. Okay. But they tend to want to admonish people or encourage people to live up to, you're better than this, you can do better than this, part of the encouragement. You are better, and that sort of thing. So anyway, their motivation is to take care of the emotional needs of others. They stimulate and build up. They head up the pep rally. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. So they're the big cheerleaders. And so the pro of this gift is they're motivated to be on top of any situation, and they're not easily discouraged. So they are motivated to be on top. So they always want to be on top of things, so they can jump in at a moment's notice, or actually before they're actually needed sometimes. But they want to do that. So they're not easily discouraged. They will get down sometimes, but they won't stay down very long because they have the ability to encourage themselves. Now, the drawbacks, the con, is they often won't let you grieve. They often lack empathy, and everything is always a mind over matter decision. So, we understand, as a minister, I understand there is a natural grieving process, and each individual is different, and so it's not a prescribed length of time, but it's it just depends on the person. You do know when it's gone too long, way too long. But an encourager, they don't want you to be down at all. They don't want you to be down at all. They don't want you to grieve at all. They want you to be happy. They want you to be up. And so sometimes they don't have the empathy that's required in situations like that, where someone with another gift, say the mercy gift, would be better suited for a situation. An encourager might go in and kind of make people feel uncomfortable because they're going through the grieving process, and make them feel like they're not normal, they're not healthy. So that's one of the drawbacks. And it's always you can think you can think yourself through it. It's always mind over matter. They skip process as one of the drawbacks. They skip process. You understand that you have your ups and downs, okay? And so when you're up on top and everything's great, but to get to this other peak, you can't go straight to this peak. You actually have to go down through process. And so you're going to have some down times. You're going to have some times that you're not motivated. You're going to have something that just normally happens. You can't go being on top all the time. It's just not natural. It's not normal. It just won't happen. So you have to go through the process, and depending on your personality and your style and your character, the process may take longer, it may take shorter, it doesn't matter. But encouragers, they don't like process. They don't like people going through the process. So they're trying to get you up as quick as they can. That's good that they're there helping to push you, but if they push too hard, you won't learn what you need to learn through the process, because we always learn through process. There's John Maxwell has a book, Sometimes I Win, Sometimes I Learn. We always need to learn from those processes, the times we fail, the times that we aren't up, the times that things don't work. We need to learn through those processes, and then on our way back up to the peak, then we've learned some things that strengthen us. Now, the encouragers don't want us to be down there. They want us to be on top all the time. So they got to watch it. Now, they are easily offended if you don't do what they counsel. So if they've given you practical steps, or they've encouraged you, and you don't get encouraged, because that's where they get their fulfillment. Remember, they get their fulfillment when you are encouraged. But if you don't get encouraged, they could be offended. They could easily be offended because of it. And so if you've got this gift, then you have to be careful and understand it's not going to always work. Everybody's not always going to feel better. You want everybody to feel better. And as a rule, when you're around, people do feel better, but it's just not always going to be the case. So, and it's not anything personal. It's because sometimes people just aren't at the point where they can accept it, where they can accept the encouraging and that sort of stuff. So don't get offended at it. So now let's look at the jobs and careers and activities and that sort of thing that go along with. Encouragers can be actors. That's what actors do. They try to encourage. They try to bring people into a different world so they can escape where they are. I love movies, and when I've gone to a movie and I've lost connection with the real world for a while, and I've engaged totally in someone else in the story that's giving, to me, that's a great movie. I don't care if it's critically acclaimed or whatever, but I love it. They're good advisors. if they're balanced, if they understand their downfalls and stuff. Announcers. Now, see, this is an interesting one because my brother has spent 30 some odd years in radio, in the radio business, and he's got the gift of encouraging, and so he's always when they're on the radio, they have to come. Not everything's scripted. They have to come up with things on their own, and so he's just one of those things. He's an announcer, and he does that for, like, when my niece was in high school and playing basketball, he announced the basketball games and that sort of stuff. He's just one of those people, pumping up the crowd and getting everybody going because he's got that gift. Another job or career is a coach. Coach needs to be encouraging. They should always be an encouraging. There's not that there shouldn't be times that you have to reprimand, but it should be more of an encouraging thing. Comedian. That goes without saying. Comedian is an encourager, unless they're a Rodney Dangerfield, or, of course, that just dated me right there. But somebody that's always everything's bad, that's not comedy to me. But anyway, a counselor. They can be a diplomat, an entertainer, which goes along with the actor and stuff. A facilitator. They can work in human resources. You need people on your team in human resources that are encouragers, because people are going to come to them with their issues, with their personal problems, with the problems in their workplace and their teams and that sort of thing, and you need to be able to encourage them. You need someone on your team in human resources to encourage them. They are influencers, because people like them. They have a lot of influence. John Maxwell says leadership is influence, pure and simple. Leadership is influence. And so they're going to be influencers. They're great in marketing, working in the marketing areas. Good mentors. A mentor is someone that kind of brings somebody along, but they can encourage them as they come along. They're motivators. Again, networkers, like we talked about before. They can be pastors. Pastors, like my friend that's a pastor. I would think that's, all of his are encourager, but they make good pastors. Politicians, we need a lot more encouraging politicians. I'll just leave that there. And public relations, you need them into public relations because you want people to feel good about your product, and they're going to make people feel good when they're around them. When people are around them, they're going to feel good. Realtors, that's just amazing how many realtors that I've met that they're just encouraging. It's got to be number one. It's got to be, because they're just, they're always, oh, you're so, blah, blah, blah. You look so good, and they're just encouraging. Just a receptionist. It would be really good to have a receptionist that's an encourager, because that way they're the face of the company. When they come visit your facility, they come visit your offices, you want the very first person they see to be someone that's gonna be light and think, encouraging and uplifting and stuff like that, instead of saying, how you doing? Well, they treat me wrong and they do this and blah blah blah. You don't want an Eeyore up there. You need a ticker. You don't need an Eeyore. If you don't get that, just Google Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, so sales. They're good in sales. One of the words here is a schmoozer. Now, I put that word there because I really didn't have another term. That's kind of a marketing term. But if you've ever been to trade shows, you want them working your trade show booth, because you want them to attract people to your booth. Then also, if you're in networking events and you're there as a corporate, you want them to network with people. So I call it schmoozing people. They're always talking people up, telling them how good they are and how good looking they are and all this kind of stuff, how talented they are, and just building this rapport with them, just lifting people up, just building them up. And so I thought that was a good term to use, as a schmoozer. So if you need a schmoozer, have somebody with the gift of encouraging. Speaker, someone that is a public speaker. Encouragers are really good at that. Talker, If you need somebody that's to do talks for you, to different, a speaker is like at an event, and talkers, like if you got a small group, you want somebody to do a talk at a small group. They're good. They're good team builders because they want everybody to get along, everybody to be encouraged, and so they're going to be building the team. And that probably goes along with the HRs and that sort of thing. And then they're good in the travel business. Of course, we don't have travel agents that much anymore, but I would think, like a flight attendant or something like that, ticket agent. You need some friendly people in those areas, okay? So that's encouraging. Again, this gift is someone that I feel like you're going to be in leadership. You're going to be a leader, whether you want to be or not, because of the fact that you're always encouraging people. You're always making people feel better about themselves. You're just going to kind of end up there. So take advantage of it. Use it to your benefit. And when people are not encouraged, don't be offended, and that sort of thing. So thanks for staying with me for this video. Got another one coming up, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.